mind-blowing stuff. I really can't wait to get this out. Another interesting thing. So some ham radio operators in the 50s were picking up the signal, and they decoded the signal. It gave the location of a star constellation, and the star constellation is the Boötis star constellation, Epsilon Boötis. Now, Epsilon Boötis star constellation was in the sky, according to the decoded information. Its position in the sky was around the last ice age, so about 13,000 years ago. So we're talking about potential, not we're saying for sure, but potentially this object could be 13,000 years old. And also another interesting thing, when you look up Epsilon Boötis, you discover that it's accredited to Enlil, Enki's brother.
Oh, so wow. Okay, so not even Enki. And for people that are listening, Enki, according to Sumerian tablets, is the one that brings the wisdom. He's the one that is for humanity. Enlil is about enslaving humanity.
Right. Correct. Exactly. And so Epsilon Boötis, this thing is hailing from, supposedly, or at least pointing to for some particular reason. Now, when you research the Epsilon Boötis void, Epsilon Boötis, you discover there's a void. It's the largest void ever discovered so far in our galaxy or in the universe, we have, as far as we've scanned. Now, this void is an empty space of about 250 million light years across inside the constellation Epsilon Boötis, and a lot of theoretical physicists, I mean, some of the world leaders, Michio Kaku and everybody else, have said that this void appears to be an artificially cloaked advanced civilization. So the story just gets deeper. It's an incredible story. Yeah.
So it's something connected to ancient times is definitely monitoring us. You know what's interesting about the poles, the rotation of it following the rotation of the poles? Mm-hmm. Our poles are shifting right now. Am I correct by saying that? Like it's mm-hmm. like true north is now going towards Russia at like an alarming speed. Am I correct?
Right. You're correct. Yep, absolutely. So we have two poles that we can shift. One is a magnetic pole, and also the second one is the crust of the Earth, which is another way that you can have a pole shift. So right now, our magnetic north is now over Russia, and even airports all around the world have had to realign their landing coordinates with their runway so that airplanes can actually land properly. The computers can actually take them to the right runway and land because the coordinates are shifting based off of the magnetic north. They use that magnetic field to navigate. So that's one thing, and it's going to probably flip. So every 27,000 years, magnetic north will flip to south, and south will go to north. So it will basically cause us to recalculate or recalibrate all of our computers and everything else, GPSs and everything else when it does happen. And the evidence of this can be found in volcanic rock all around the world. You look at volcanic rock, the magnetic field is recorded in the volcanic rock, and it will give you the time frame that these flips happen. And we're now approaching another one of these magnetic flips. We're also approaching another pole shift of the crust of the Earth as well, where the crust can shift anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees, sometimes as much as 45 degrees, depending on how severe the shift is, when these tectonic plates slip and actually allow massive amounts of continent region to move at a very fast pace, which causes a global flood. So it's amazing stuff.
And a pole shift, is that because of solar interaction with the sun, or why is it shifting, and why is it shifting so fast? Like, how does that happen?
So there's a couple reasons. First of all, the crust, they are just barely holding on for dear life when they're mounted on top of each other. You have subduction plates, which are basically ready to slip at any moment's notice. And then you have a second factor that comes in. There's a second sun in our solar system. It's a brown dwarf star. It's official now. It's official. It's been made, and that's going into the history books and everything else. It orbits our sun, our yellow sun, every 4,200 years, according to astronomers. This is now mainstream peer-reviewed science. It has 6 planetoids orbiting it, and it's outside the orbit of Pluto, but it's in the inner Oort cloud region. Now, the thing about it, even though it's a brown dwarf and it's probably 10 times smaller than our yellow sun, it has the same amount of mass almost. So as this thing swings through and around our sun, it it causes a gravitational tug on our solar system, which also directly affects our sun and our planets, the planets in our solar system, which includes Earth. So as this thing swings by, it has the potential to snag or pull gravitationally on the planet's surface, which could cause enough of a tug to cause the crust to slip, and then all of a sudden, you have a shift of the crust. That's one theory out there.
So, what's the name of the brown dwarf?
They haven't named it yet. There's a planetoid out there that they've named Biden, believe it or not. That I believe is, I don't know. This was a long time ago, too. They named it Biden. It orbits this brown dwarf, and they tracked it moving through the sky. And it made Fox News and several other news stations as well. The astronomer actually came on TV. It's actually on my YouTube channel as well. I'll send you the link so you can use it if you need to get some voice clips from it. But yeah, it's really amazing.
Amazing. And, this sounds a lot to me like the electric universe theory. Where these other kind of bodies that are bigger come into contact with a solar system or another sun, and it causes a switch of energy a little bit. And so what you're saying is this brown dwarf is massive and it's getting closer to our solar system. Right, and that is causing a tug on not just our planet, but other planets as well, I'm assuming.
Yes, exactly. And it's also causing global warming, by the way. Not only on Earth, but all the planets and moons in our solar system are experiencing global warming right now because of this. Because this object is gravitational waves, emanate from this brown dwarf star. And these gravitational waves create a frequency. Now that frequency enters into a solid body and creates vibrations by jingling the atoms or the atomic structure of any body it enters, which creates friction, and friction creates heat. The global warming that we're experiencing now here on Earth is not a result of cows passing gas and exhaust fumes coming out of cars. Have we added to global warming? Yes, we have added to global warming. But
right, we're making it kind of gross, but what you're saying is there's something else happening.
There's something else happening. This is a natural cycle that happens in amazingly, if you just go on to, I forget the show, Greg Braden show on Gaia, you'll discover he did the ice cores. What's the name of the show?
Missing Links.
Missing Links, correct. He does the ice cores on there, and the ice cores will give you all of the global warming over thousands of years. And right now, we're actually not even the hottest that it's been in the warming cycle. There's been other hotter sessions than this in the past. So this is a very normal thing. It's not anything to be alarmed about.
Okay, amazing. Well, all right, so back to the Black Knight. So your conclusion, based on all of your research, and of course there's probably a lot more in the documentary that's coming out, is that the Black Knight, which has been orbiting our planet for, we don't even know, but we first picked it up in like 1898. Is that correct?
1899, I believe, yeah.
1899 with Tesla, is that it's monitoring to see the progress of humanity, possibly.
Yep.
And connected to Enlil, kind of an Anunnaki connection, if you will. Right. What do you think? I mean, obviously the governments of the world must know about this thing. What are they doing about it?
Well, they know all about it. I mean, matter of fact, in 1960, March 7th, 1960, Time Magazine, it made Time Magazine. And not only were there one of them, there were two of them up there at that time. Maybe the second one is still there. I don't have enough information about it to talk about it extensively in the documentary, but they were saying that there were two artificial satellites orbiting the planet back in 1960, made Time Magazine. Made a couple other official papers at the time in May of 1954. It made the St. Louis Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner. I mean, it's been they've known about it for a long time. Now, when they sent the STS missions, a space shuttle mission up there, they saw this thing for the first time and were able to record it, video and photo in HD, and they really took quite a bit of photos. Those photos are still sitting on NASA.gov right now today, and the object is so massive it's estimated to be a little over 15 tons. And they were considering the fact that was this a spy satellite from Russia, and then Russia was like, no, we thought it was you guys put this thing up, and then they came to realize neither one of them can launch anything that heavy. So they realized it was neither, and they didn't want to mess with it because obviously you don't know if this thing has any type of defense system built into it. We don't know what it can do or what it's capable of doing. So best to just kind of really leave it alone. And they labeled the images space junk on NASA.gov.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Yeah. And is there any evidence, we just had an episode where an episode for our podcast where we talked about Space Force. I mean, is this idea that the next war, as Trump says, is going to be held in space, is it really against countries, or do they know that something is monitoring us and they're preparing for some battle?
I think they're preparing for some space battle. And the reason why I say that, I wrote this in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Thoth, as I decipher the Emerald Tablets in a way for everybody to understand, Thoth, the Atlantean priest king himself, says in the Emerald Tablet that he wrote that in the future, far from the deep, there will come an enemy, and the one with wisdom that will be able to release my spaceship from underneath the Sphinx will defeat them with ease. This was written over 36,000 years ago. So there's something going on. They know about it. The ancient texts, to me, tell the story. These wars that have been going on for millions of years, in my opinion, seem to be cyclical, just like the yugas are cyclical for human rise and fall of civilizations. I think these galactic wars are also cyclical as well, and that we're coming to a point maybe here in the future, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime in the future, there could be a force coming in from space, and we may need to defend this planet against it.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff. I'm a big nerd fan of the Black Knight, so this shed a lot of light for me, and I'm so excited for your documentary. Will you please tell us when it's going to come out?
I'm hoping to have it released by September 1st, 2020. That would be hopefully this virus situation didn't slow me down too much. There was a couple of interviews that have been a little bit delayed now, but we'd like to have it released September 21st. 2020. It'll go on my own streaming network, Forbidden Knowledge TV, and will also go on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, I love Billy. There was a lot to take away from there. He's claiming that the imagery on some of these ancient Sumerian cuneiform, I believe is how you pronounce it, text, these tablets, the imagery on it is exactly like that photo from NASA of the Black Knight. That is really cool, and I love connections like that.
And now for Matt's section of I'm about to take a shit on everything that you guys believe in.
All right, look, I did some digging because I was trying to find out where did the name Black Knight come from, and because every time I've looked into this, it's always been Tesla found these radio signals, and researchers, and I'm doing this in quotes, researchers believe it's the Black Knight. And this person found this, and researchers believe it's the Black Knight. And this person said he saw this, and researchers believe it's the Black Knight. So it just seems like it's another one of these Slender Man type things that someone's just attributing to all this legitimate weird shit that's happening. And I don't know who's calling it the Black Knight. Where is that coming from? Who named it that?
Well, you're supposed to find that out.
Well, that's the thing. So none of the events that people say this is the Black Knight have ever said anything about a Black Knight. There's no Tesla didn't mention it. So I mean, there's explanations for everything that all these people have said has been attributed to the Black Knight. The Tesla thing, scientists believe after looking at his notes on it that it was pulsars is what he was picking up.
No, it's the Black Knight.
Yeah, that's what researchers say. Yeah. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying they're all wrong. I haven't seen any, and I'm not. Like I said, I love Billy. Not saying anything bad about it. I just myself personally have never seen anything concrete that's pointed to this is a real thing, other than people saying this is So Mercury 9, Gordon Cooper, right?
Right.
What is it, 63, supposedly reported seeing this greenish UFO.
Yep.
So what he also legitimately said was that Cooper says it never happened. It was a complete fabrication of UFO authors. And he actually handed over all the transcripts from that flight, from the Mercury 9 mission, and